Hello everyone. Welcome to the virtual class of investment accounting. It is one of the most important topic from your syllabus. To score marks in full, it is necessary for all of us to learn this chapter with basic concepts. Once you are clear for all the concepts and mechanism of calculation, I assure you that you can score full marks in the examination, but subject to the condition that all concepts and theories shall be clear. So, before starting any practical aspect of the topic, let us move to the theory. The first and foremost term is investment because our chapter is all about investment accounting. The first question is, what do you mean by investment? There is significant difference in the terminology savings and investment. When your savings turns into productive means when your savings invested outside, say in real estate, securities like equity, preference, debenture, other instruments like bonds, mutual funds, etc. When we are investing our savings outside, why we are investing our savings outside? Either to earn income in terms of interest or dividend or profit. In this situation, your savings turns into investment. Other meaning is also available on your screen. An investment is essentially an asset that is created with the intention of allowing money to grow. Very much important terminology used over here. If you keep a bundle of rupees 10,000 in the locker at your home or in cupboard, after 6 months, that 10,000 will be 10,000 only. But instead of that, if you invest in a bank, if you invest in capital market, if you invest anywhere, you can earn something out of your investment. It means you allowed your money to grow, to increase. Because if you invest 10,000 today, it may be possible that after 6 months, that 10,000 will be 10,100, 10,200, 10,500 or 11,000 based on the situation. So investment is something more than savings. So be clear for this particular terminology. Second item that you need to understand, that how many types of transactions are related to the investments. When you discuss about investment, there are three types of transactions associated with the investments. First that is a buy. Purchase of the securities from the market. If you purchase RBI bonds, if you purchase equity from the market, if you purchase any other securities issued by government or companies, means either government securities where the issue is government, commercial security when the security is issued by companies, private authorities. So when you buy securities, the first is a buying, purchase of security. Second, holding the securities. Just purchase the security and keep it with you without any kind of movement. And third, that is a sell, selling the securities, or you can say transfer these securities to others. So there are three types of transactions possible in investment market. First is a buy, second keep it with you, that is a hold, and third, that is sell, means selling the securities. After knowing the transactions related to investments, let us concentrate on the third and most important item related to our topic. Point number 3 is all about objectives of the investors, that is income to the investors. अगर हमें कहीं पैसे लगाने हैं तो हम पैसे क्यों लगाएं? This is the first question. If I need to invest somewhere, why should I invest my money in the market? There are two major objectives associated with the investment. The first objective is to earn regular income in form of interest or dividend. Either we are earning interest or dividend from our investment, and second is to earn profit, or you can say capital appreciation. Means we are investing in any of the security with these two objectives. Either we need to earn income in form of interest or dividend, or we would like to earn profit when we are selling the security, or we would like to get the benefit of capital appreciation. With these two objectives, entire investment market is running. So when you enter into investment market, you can explore either of these two objectives with the investors. Let us move to the fourth and important concept. Generally, in any transaction, we are in need of a person whose intention is to buy, to purchase the security, and a person whose intention is to sell the security. But in earlier days, say before 50 years, 60 years, 80 years, there were buyers and sellers met to each other and exchanged money and securities. But right now, in the world of digitization, buyer may be located at Chennai, seller may be located at Rajkot. So it is practically not possible to meet buyer and seller for the purpose of exchange, and that is why an intermediary is required, and this intermediary is broker. Broker is also defined as registered broker in investment market. Broker is a person who is playing an important role in trading of the securities. Broker is playing a role as a mediator between buyer and seller. So there are three different parties involved in any transaction related to buying and selling of the securities. One is a buyer who intended to buy, one is a seller who would like to sell his security, and a broker who is capable enough to exchange the intention of buyer and seller in terms of exchange of money as well as security. So the role of broker is important in today's market. Now, most important part, brokerage. Brokerage is all about amount paid by buyer and seller to the registered broker for their services. What is the meaning of service? As I said, buyer may be located at Chennai, seller may be located at Rajkot. In between buyer and seller, broker is playing an important role as a mediator to complete the transaction of buying and selling. He is taking care of each and everything, right from the first stage to the transfer of entitlement of the securities. To provide these service, the broker is charging fees, and these fees is known as brokerage. Generally, the brokerage is computed on market value oblique transaction value of the securities and not on face value. Say for example, face value of the security is rupees 10. Market value of the same security is rupees 100, and brokerage is chargeable at the rate of 1%. It means this 1% is not on face value of rupees 10. This 1% is applicable on market value of rupees 100. So here 1% means 1% of rupees 100, that is a market value or transaction value. But it may be possible that sometimes examiner may insist you to charge brokerage on face value. In this situation, we need to charge brokerage on face value. कभी कभी एग्जामिनर हमें क्वेश्चन में एकदम क्लियर कट बताता है कि हमें ब्रोकरेज फेस वैल्यू पे चार्ज करनी है। अगर आपको ये बताया गया है क्वेश्चन में कि आप ब्रोकरेज फेस वैल्यू पे चार्ज करो, तो ही आप ब्रोकरेज फेस वैल्यू पे कैलकुलेट करोगे। इफ no instruction is available in the question regarding brokerage, brokerage is always applicable on market value or transaction value of the securities. Keep this thing in your mind because this particular concept and calculation will be playing important role in our practical part. So you simply remember these two things. If it is instructed, you will follow the instruction. If it is not instructed, you will follow the principle. अगर क्वेश्चन में आपको बताया गया है तो आप वो ही करोगे जो आपको बताया गया है। अगर क्वेश्चन में कुछ भी नहीं बताया है तो आप प्रिंसिपल के हिसाब से चलोगे और प्रिंसिपल यह कहता है कि ब्रोकरेज हमेशा मार्केट वैल्यू या ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू पर ही चार्ज की जाती है। ब्रोकरेज इज जनरली चार्जेबल ऑन market value or transaction value of the securities. So, to calculate the brokerage, always refer instructions given in the question very carefully. Now, let us learn effect of the brokerage. This is most important part and step for the calculation. Buyer and seller, both parties are required to pay amount to broker for his service, but effect will be different in both the cases. When you purchase the security, market value of the security, whatever it is, plus we need to add the brokerage. Say for example, अगर हमने 1 करोड़ रुपए की सिक्योरिटीज मार्केट में से परचेज की और हमें ब्रोकर को 10% ब्रोकरेज देनी है तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? आई नीड टू पे 1 करोड़ रुपीज टू द सेलर ऑफ द सिक्योरिटी एंड 10% ऑफ दैट 1 करोड़ इक्वल्स टू 10 lakhs to the broker. So what will be the total expenditure incurred by me? 1 crore paid by me to the seller and 10 lakhs rupees paid by me to the broker. So total expense is incurred by me 1 crore 10 lakhs. So when we purchase anything, the amount of brokerage is included in the market value. But in case of sell, or you can say effect for seller, market value of securities less brokerage. यहां आप एक और एंगल से सोचो. As a seller, if you receive 1 crore rupees from me, right, you need to pay 10% brokerage to the broker. So 10% of 1 crore equals to 10 lakhs. Out of the 1 crore rupees received by you, you are supposed to pay 10 lakhs rupees to the broker. So what will be the rest with you? 1 crore minus 10 lakhs. So only rupees 90 lakhs. So, in case of buyer, the amount of brokerage is added into calculation, and in case of seller, amount of brokerage is deducted from the amount received by the sale of securities. This is my humble request to you all to keep this thing in your mind. Because without the effect of brokerage on purchase and sell, we cannot complete any of our calculation. So fast recap of this point. In case of purchase, we need to add brokerage. In case of sell, we need to deduct amount of brokerage. Generally, brokerage is chargeable on market value or transaction value, or in some of the cases, if it is instructed, we need to charge brokerage on face value. So read the information very carefully. Next and sixth point, that is interest received. As I discussed, it is one of the objectives of the investment. Whatever the amount received by the investor on the investment is known as interest received. In this chapter, we are not supposed to consider transactions related to shares, because in shares we have to receive dividend and payment of dividend is uncertain. So as per the requirement, our practical questions will be based on fixed income securities. Fixed income securities means the rate of interest is fixed and even the terms and conditions of the payment are also fixed. Generally, investment issuing authorities are paying interest on notified dates to the owner of the securities. We need to understand this terminology, notified dates. Investment or securities issuing authority agencies are not free to pay and calculate interest on the securities round the clock 365 days. That is why they have decided to pay interest on specific dates. Say for example, the company is paying interest once in the year on 31st December. It means company is paying interest on 31st December for whole year. Another example, the company is paying interest twice in the year, on June 30 and December 31st. It means the company is paying interest twice, 2 times in the year. First time on June 30 and a second time on December 31st. It means for January to June and July to December. Same way, company may pay interest quarterly every 3 months. But whatever the date of payment is, it is notified. Notified means prescribed right from the beginning. In our practical part, these dates means notified dates will be provided to us. So we need not to worry for the notified dates, but we need to pay interest on the given date. The calculation of interest is always based on face value of the securities. This is the most important part for you. Generally, we are mixing the concept. As I said, brokerage is chargeable on market value or a transaction value. It does not mean interest is also payable on market value. Interest is always calculated on face value of the securities. So as far as calculation of interest is concerned, always focus on face value. Seventh concept, that is accrued interest. Accrued interest means interest receivable from the security issuing agencies but not received. Generally, accrued interest is available to us in case of opening balance of investment and closing balance of investment. Say for example, the company is paying interest on 31st December and June 30. It means the company has to pay interest on notified dates, that is June 30 एंड दिसंबर 31। लेकिन हमारा जो अकाउंटिंग ईयर है वो तो 1 अप्रैल से शुरू होता है। इसका मतलब 31 मार्च को जब हम अपना अकाउंट्स क्लोज करेंगे तब क्या होगा? द कंपनी हैज पेड इंटरेस्ट लास्ट टाइम ऑन December 31। फिर जनवरी, February and March, nothing is paid by the company to the investor. So on 31st March of any accounting year, there will be credit of interest on these securities for the period of 3 months. So this interest is receivable, but amount is not received. Why it is not received? Because as you are ending your accounts on 31st March, it does not mean that company will pay interest to you on 31st March. आप अपना अकाउंट 31 मार्च को बंद कर रहे हो, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि कंपनी आपको 31 मार्च को इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट करेगी। Once the company has decided to pay interest on June 30 and December 31st, कंपनी आपको उसी दिन इंटरेस्ट पे करेगी। आपकी अकाउंटिंग साइकिल कुछ भी हो, उससे सिक्योरिटीज इश्यूइंग एजेंसीज, अथॉरिटीज का कोई वास्ता नहीं है। आप ये याद रखें। Say for example, banks, you can calculate that interest is credited for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. It is credited, true, but a bank is paying interest on notified dates, not every day. So take care of this thing very clearly. So item number 7, that is accrued interest, is affecting to the calculation of opening balance of the security and closing balance of the security. So if we have information related to opening balance and closing balance, we will consider information related to accrued interest in practical. Next, most important part of the chapter, that is information number 8 and 9. You will find terminology X interest transaction or cum interest transaction throughout the chapter, because the price is written as either X interest or cum interest. So let us understand X interest transaction first. In X interest transaction, the price decided for the transaction representing the price of the securities only. In X interest transaction, the amount of interest due till the date of transaction is either received or paid in addition to the price of the security. Received means when we are selling, and paid when we are purchasing. For example, rupees 102 X interest. पहले आप इससे अच्छे से समझ लें अगर आपके क्वेश्चन में किसी भी जगह परचेज और सेल की प्राइस के साथ यह लिखा है प्राइस 102 x interest, the meaning of this x interest is very much clear. You are supposed to pay rupees 102 only for the security, means this 102 is value of the security only. Whatever the additional amount of interest is either received or paid in addition to the price of the security. इसका मतलब आप 1,00,000 रुपए की सिक्योरिटी 102x इंटरेस्ट के हिसाब से परचेज कर रहे हैं, तो मार्केट वैल्यू ऑफ द सिक्योरिटी क्या होगी? 1 लाख multiplied by 102 per 100. So it's a 1,02,000. We are supposed to pay 1,02,000 rupees only for the security. Now, on this security, interest is due for 4 months. इस सिक्योरिटी पे जो हमने परचेज की है उस पे 4 महीने का इंटरेस्ट ड्यू है. We need to calculate the interest on this security for the period of 4 months, and the amount of interest is payable to the seller extra or in addition to the price of the security, that is rupees 1,02,000 decided over here. We'll discuss these transactions in one full lecture, because right from first transaction of the chapter to the last transaction of the chapter, you will find that your transactions are either X interest or cum interest. आपको यहां सिर्फ इतना ही याद रखना है, एक्स इंटरेस्ट ट्रांजैक्शन, चाहे वो सेल हो या परचेज, इट डजंट मेक एनी डिफरेंस. एक्स इंटरेस्ट ट्रांजैक्शन मीन्स द प्राइस इज गिवन फॉर सिक्योरिटी एंड इंटरेस्ट इज आइदर रिसीवेबल और पेएबल इन एडिशन टू द प्राइस ऑफ द सिक्योरिटी. और आप अच्छे से इस हिसाब से याद रखो, in X interest transaction, price is given for security, interest is extra. ये आपको जल्दी से समझ में आएगा. X interest transaction means price of the security is given, interest is extra. Clear? आगे बढ़ते हैं. Number 9. Number 9 is all about cum interest transaction. In a cum interest transaction, the price decided for the transaction representing the price of the securities and accrued or due interest. यहां सिर्फ ये कम आ जाने से पूरी की पूरी गेम चेंज हो गई. Here, whatever the price we are quoting for the security, this price is not only for security, but it also includes the value of the interest. Let us see. Cum interest price means the price quoted is inclusive of the amount of interest due on the security purchased or sold. यहां पे मैं आपको जो प्राइस बता रहा हूं वो प्राइस सिर्फ सिक्योरिटीज की नहीं है, वो प्राइस सिक्योरिटीज के साथ साथ जो भी बाकी इंटरेस्ट है उन दोनों को मिला के तय की गई है. प्राइस इज डिसाइडेड inclusive of the amount of interest due on the security purchased or sold. For example, rupees 102 कम इंटरेस्ट, पेपर में ऐसे ही लिखा होगा 102 एक्स इंटरेस्ट, 102 कम इंटरेस्ट। अब एक्स इंटरेस्ट में क्या होता था, 102 was for security, इंटरेस्ट एक्स्ट्रा। कम इंटरेस्ट में क्या होता है, 102 फॉर सिक्योरिटी प्लस इंटरेस्ट। एक्स में इंटरेस्ट एक्स्ट्रा था, कम में इंटरेस्ट साथ में ही है, so we need to make it separate over here at the time of our calculation. As I said, I will dedicate a full lecture for the understanding of the transactions, come interest and X interest. So in all, we have 4 types of transactions in the chapter. आपके पूरे चैप्टर में सिर्फ 4 टाइप्स के ट्रांजैक्शंस है। फर्स्ट, एक्स इंटरेस्ट परचेज। सेकंड, कम इंटरेस्ट परचेज। थर्ड, एक्स इंटरेस्ट सेल। एंड फोर्थ, कम इंटरेस्ट सेल। अगर आप इन चारों ट्रांजैक्शंस को अच्छे से एक बार समझ लेते हो, मैं आपको गारंटी देता हूं पूरे चैप्टर में आपको कहीं पर भी दिक्कत नहीं होगी। लेकिन आपको यह समझना है बड़े अच्छे से। We will discuss this item with practical in next session. Now, last transaction or last concept of the topic, that is valuation of closing investments, or you can say closing stock. जब हमारे दिमाग में आता है स्टॉक तभी कुछ और आता है, लेकिन for this chapter we are buying and selling the investments. It means we are dealing in the business of investments. When we are dealing with the investment, we can use terminology called closing stock, and you will find this terminology throughout the chapter. So valuation of closing investments or closing stock. Let us understand the methods of valuation. There are 2 different methods of valuation we are using in this chapter. First, FIFO, first in first out method. जो सिक्योरिटीज हमने पहले परचेज की है उसको हम सबसे पहले सेल करेंगे, और जो बाद में परचेज की है उसे हम अपने पास रखेंगे या बाद में सेल करेंगे। फर्स्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट। सेकेंड मेथड इज लास्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट, दैट इज LIFO मेथड। जो सिक्योरिटीज हमने लास्ट में परचेज की है हम सबसे पहले उस सिक्योरिटीज को सेल करेंगे। We need to sell the securities at first from the last lot purchased by the investor. Investor सबसे आखिर में जो सिक्योरिटीज परचेज करता है सबसे पहले उसमें से सेल करेगा, LIFO. So we have 2 methods over here, FIFO and LIFO. ये आप इन्वेंटरी में भी पढ़ चुके हो जहां पे आपने स्टॉक रजिस्टर्स प्रिपेयर किए थे। The same mechanism is applicable over here. FIFO, first in first out method, and LIFO, last in first out method. Now you need to remember a few rules. Rule number 1, that is follow the method as per instruction given in the question. Whatever the method given by the examiner in the question, you need to follow either FIFO or LIFO. If no method is suggested in the question, always follow. आप आपके क्वेश्चन में कोई भी मेथड नहीं दी गई है, अगर आपके क्वेश्चन में मेथड दी गई नहीं है, इसका मतलब आपको फीफो मेथड ही फॉलो करनी है. If no method is suggested in the question to be followed for the valuation of stock, it is compulsory for you to follow FIFO, first in, first out method. So don't forget this rule. And compare cost price and market value of the stock, जो हम स्टैंडर्ड 11 से करते आ रहे हैं. We need to compare cost price of the stock and market value of the stock and consider the least or minimum value out of these two. ये चीज आपके लिए कोई नई नहीं है, क्योंकि हम ये चीज 11वीं कक्षा से कर रहे हैं. We need to follow minimum out of either cost price or market value of the stock. ये किस हिसाब से हो रहा है? So I have mentioned in the bracket, we need to follow this principle as per the concept of conservatism. There were a few concepts, conventions and principles in the accounting, and one of the concept is conservatism. We need to consider expenditure as maximum as possible and income as minimum as possible to minimize the amount of the profit. So this is all about concept of conservatism. So on the basis of the concept of conservatism, we are doing this comparison. We need to compare cost and market value and consider minimum. I hope everybody is clear with the basic concepts of the chapter. I expect that all of you may dictate this all content in your notebooks just to clarify your base and principles related to the chapter investment accounting. Watch this video twice, thrice, or as per your requirement, because this particular video, including all 10 important items, will be playing an important role in entire chapter. See you in next virtual class with practical understanding of cum interest and ex interest transaction related to sell and purchase. Thank you. God bless you. Keep learning. Keep growing.